welcome back to Ask Nikki P. So I'm going to jump right into today's question. I think I just burped as I said that, but I'm gonna try here. So, hey Nikki, I gotta ask some advice. I am 33 years old and have been through 3 engagements since I was 23 and am leery of dating again. How did you know Dan was the right one? And when did he know it was right to ask you? Did he get your father's approval first? Plus, how do you go on to date after being hurt so many times? This is like a really loaded question. I am gonna say, I wish I had a good answer as to how I knew when I was dating Dan. I don't really know, to be like very vulnerable and honest with you guys. I honestly just like felt like it was right. And then this is where, you guys know I'm Christian, and like when I would pray in church and when I was like in worship service in church and when I would, be with friends in like little Bible study groups and stuff, I just always felt at peace when like the topic of Dan was brought up. So any freakouts I had usually tended to be like when I was off kind of doing my own thing and like starting to freak out. But like in general, when I was with Dan or when I was like in times of like peace, if that makes sense, I felt like good about it. And I kind of just like dove in. I was kind of like, all right, well, all the things that I want in someone that I marry, like he has those things. He's honest. We have the same faith regardless of each other, which I've mentioned before, I think is really important. Not that people can't, convert for each other. I just think it's important to have similar faiths that have nothing to do with each other, because I've said before that it's so nice to know that like when Dan and I fight, we believe the same thing, and it doesn't have to do with us liking the other person. So even if we're like super mad and it's like, ugh, we still believe the same thing, and it has nothing, it's not contingent upon us liking each other, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my honest answer. It just kind of felt right, and then I just dove in. Was it still scary? Yeah, it was, especially because I didn't expect to be married till I was like in my 30s. He kind of just came out of nowhere. It felt right. He kind of had everything I wanted, and it just kind of happened. And that's the honest, truth. I just kind of did it. And of course I was scared because, I knew it was for the rest of my life. I was like, all right, I'm diving in, but it seems like it's right. It feels right. And let's do it. As far as, now that I've been blabbering about myself for like 42 minutes. Not really, guys, it's only been 3 minutes. But anyways, now that I've been blabbering about myself, as far as what you're going through, I can imagine that would be scary to date again after going through that stuff. And it's side note, it's a little different because you're older, and so you've kind of gone through this in your adult life. But in relation to my, you guys that are watching that are younger, I think it's, that's a good case, or a good, good case for not trying to serial date when you're younger, because it is harder even when you're an adult. After you've been through a few relationships, it gets scarier, and it can be done, and I do believe you are going to find the one. But what you said is exactly why, for people who are younger, it's very important to think carefully before you date, because it does get harder, because once you've been hurt a few times, it's just scarier to step back out there and open up your heart again. In terms of finding someone, and dating again, I know I give this answer a lot, but that's just because I think it's really helpful. I would really recommend finding a good church in your community and getting involved, because not only I think, being involved in church and community can really help to heal your heart and soften it again, but you're gonna probably be around people who are looking for similar things and have similar values or that kind of thing. And I can imagine that would be scary. And like I said, I don't really have a recommendation as to how to get rid of that fear, because I think sometimes things in life just hurt, and that's just kind of it, and you have to just move through it and feel the pain, but keep moving. And yeah, don't be mad at yourself for being scared. I understand, I would be a little bit nervous too. But like I said, I would recommend getting around people that can help you know, help support you and soften your heart and heal you. And if that's not a church situation, if that's, you know, close family members or close friends, yeah, I would recommend that. And I believe you will find the one. I will be praying for you. I know, I would imagine that that is hard. But yeah, I hope that was any kind of answer at all. As usual, anyone else that has anything to say about this, or suggestions, or, you know, different opinions or whatever, let us know in the comment section, because I think when you're the one that asks the question, it's helpful to hear everyone's input. So I am going to answer today's Twitter question. All right, this isn't really like a advice question, but someone said, do you have any other interests besides the fashion and beauty field? Yes. Actually, you know, to those of you that have been on all my channels, you already know this. I come from like a performing background. For like 10 plus years of my life, I worked as an actor, singer, dancer. So I was performing a lot. We used to live in Singapore, where I was performing for Universal Studios. I did like random indie films and commercials and theater, and which I love. And that is a huge interest of mine. And I told you guys in the beginning of How to Be Happy January that one of my goals this year was to do more music. And I definitely have done some music, but it's actually really exciting because closing the year, I have like a lot more music coming out. Like, I don't want to say it because I know I'm like, you know, famous for freaking saying I'm gonna do stuff and then not doing it. But as far as it stands right now, I think I have like 4 songs coming out before the end of the year, which is like, and like music videos, which is exciting. So definitely, and I would definitely consider beauty and fashion like a part of me. I am not an expert. It is not my sole passion. It's just like, hi, I'm Nikki and I like getting dressed and getting ready. Like, that's kind of it. And honestly, on some days I'm like a slob, which I'm trying to fix, but that's the truth. So yes, that's my answer. But that is all for today. Send your messages to asknikkip@gmail.com or hashtag AskNikkiP, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
If he's too shy to ask, he's not going to. I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, are you too nervous?
Yeah. If she's got the courage, she needs to.
That's what I was gonna say.